We live in an age where many men have completely abandoned God, family, friends, and most importantly themselves in pursuit of a modern fantasy. It's a fantasy that promises excitement, fulfillment, and unending happiness, but delivers only emptiness, loneliness, and despair. It's the fantasy of romantic love. According to a broken and incomplete psychology, romantic love is everything. It's the justification for your existence. You're nothing without it. It's the supposed source of happiness, fulfillment, and most importantly, meaning. The moment you stop chasing this elusive thing, you are incomplete, worthless, and miserable. It's so many men spend their entire lives searching for this feeling. They chase woman after woman, hoping to finally find it. But the feeling never lasts. And they end up more empty and more alone than before. Truthfully, there is a reason why most men never find this magical feeling. And that's because the very nature of romantic love is antithetical to the masculine soul. Listen to these words spoken by philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. If he loves, he ceases to be what he is. These words are incredibly powerful, and yet very difficult for men to accept. Why? Because of how much emphasis our modern society places on romantic love? We are constantly surrounded by messages telling us that we need a woman, that we need to be in a relationship. If we aren't, something is wrong with us. In fact, some people will go as far as to say that the meaning of life is to find love. But what if the truth is actually the exact opposite? What if being alone is the natural state of a man? And what if the decision to leave that state is one of the most important decisions that he will ever make in his life? If you choose unwisely, you could end up miserable and empty forever. Unfortunately, most men never come to understand this simple truth. They instead choose to follow their feelings. They abandon logic and reason and fall head over heels into the abyss of romantic love. When they do this, they lose themselves. Their identity becomes the love they have for a woman, rather than who they are as an individual. They start living in a fantasy world where everything is about the woman. Their thoughts revolve around her. Their actions are dictated by her. Their emotions are controlled by her. In other words, they are no longer in control of themselves. Instead, they are puppets dancing to the tune of romantic love. Let's take a look at the so-called meeting of Romeo and Juliet. You might think it's a beautiful love story, and it certainly has its moments. But if you look closely, you will see that from the moment these two lovers meet, they waste no time in giving up their former identities. Romeo stops thinking about his family and forgets about his former friends. Juliet abandons her life as a young lady under the care of her parents and chooses to sneak around with Romeo like a commoner. Both of them abandon their responsibilities, forget their previous goals and dreams, and decide to live for the sake of their romantic love. The result is, of course, tragedy. You might be thinking that was just a silly love story. What's so bad about it? Well, for starters, it promotes the idea that you should abandon your life for the sake of romantic love. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should unprioritize your relationship or that you should unmake sacrifices for the sake of your partner. Of course you should. But there is a limit to everything. And when you cross that line, you will pay the price. There is a saying that the first casualty of war is truth. This is especially true when it comes to romantic love. When you let this feeling consume you, it clouds your judgment, makes you selfish, and it isolates you from those closest to you. You become so focused on the woman that you ignore everyone else in your life. This is the dark side of romantic love that modern women use to their advantage. They know how to make a man lose himself in love, and then use that to manipulate him. That's why you hear stories of women who get married, have children, and then still manage to cheat on their husbands. After all, what is a man who's lost in a fantasy world? What is a man who's too busy daydreaming about his feelings to notice the reality around him? Think of the countless men who have been cheated on, lied to, and used by women. Think of the men who gave up their families, their friends, and their dignity for the sake of love, only to be discarded like garbage the moment they become inconvenient. These are not isolated incidents. They are the natural outcome of following such a dangerous path. So how do you avoid this fate? The answer, as always, lies in discipline and self-control. The first step is to remember who you are. Don't let yourself get lost in the fantasy world of romantic love. Stay grounded in reality and keep your emotions in check. This won't be easy, especially if you're dealing with a high-value woman who knows how to push your buttons, but it is possible. All you need is the will to do it. Next, set clear boundaries. Don't let yourself get carried away by the moment. Take your time and really think about what you're doing. Are you giving too much of yourself away? Are you becoming too attached to this woman? If the answer is yes, then it's time to pull back and reevaluate the situation. Remember, a high-value man is in control of himself and his emotions. He doesn't let himself be tossed around by the whims of romantic love. Lastly, don't neglect your other relationships. Don't let your pursuit of romantic love cause you to neglect your friends, your family, and even your business. These are the people who have your back when things go south. They are the ones who will help you out of a hole if you ever fall into one. Don't take them for granted. By following these 3 steps, you can avoid the pitfalls of romantic love and use it to your advantage. You will still be able to enjoy the benefits of a loving relationship without sacrificing yourself in the process. Remember, the goal is to find a partner, not to lose yourself. In conclusion, let us remind ourselves that life is not about finding romantic love. It's about finding yourself. Sure, having a loving partner can make life more enjoyable, but it's not necessary for happiness or fulfillment. In fact, it can be quite the opposite if you end up choosing the wrong person. So take your time, be selective, and don't settle for just anyone. Remember the words of Arthur Schopenhauer: a man can be himself only so long as he is alone. If he loves, he ceases to be what he is. Use this wisdom to guide you through the complexities of romantic love, and you will be rewarded with a fulfilling and meaningful life. See, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of a new relationship. It's that initial spark that ignites a fire within us, making us feel alive and passionate. But as time goes on, the intensity of these feelings can often fade, leaving us questioning whether we made the right choice. It's crucial to recognize that while these initial feelings are powerful, they shouldn't be the sole basis for making such a significant commitment. Rather, we should strive to look beyond the surface, to truly understand ourselves and the person we're about to embark on this journey with. Finding the right person is like discovering a hidden treasure at the end of a long journey. It requires patience, resilience, and a willingness to face the unknown. But the reward of finding someone who complements your values, goals, and aspirations is immeasurable. Remember, settling for someone just because of a momentary spark can lead to a lifetime of discontent. But choosing to take the time to find the right person can lead to a love that is deep, meaningful, and enduring. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love. Till next time.